This is the reason why I need everybody to be on top of their stuff with the mirror work, being sound-minded, sound body, understanding that we know that you are a creative, intelligent head, but the spokesperson for your creativity is this guy because they like him. Get from in front of the camera. Let trash be in front of the camera. Let him facilitate where we need to be. That's what we got to fight back for as chaos.
Hey, look, I know we ain't even started, and he dropping all these jewels. So I didn't want to interrupt, but I was like, shit, we got to save some of that for this.
Welcome to the We Got Problems podcast with co-hosts Curtis G. Martin, Rhonda L. Brown, and Caliph Johnson Sr., the one and only podcast where solutions get discussed to our community's everyday troubles. Each week, you will hear mind-blowing conversations and actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become more effective. We got problems and we got solutions.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the show. This is We Got Problems. I'm here with my co-host, Rhonda L. Brown, Miss Rhonda Rice Official. I'm also here with my second co-host, Caliph Johnson Sr., the trash vegan. And I'm Curtis G. Martin, and we have a special guest, the Form Runner. The Form Runner, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, brother, and what you do.
All right, so my name is McAfeeThe. I'm from Philadelphia, Mississippi. I was raised between Mississippi and Louisiana and New Orleans. Country dude. Just like most people coming out of a place where there's little opportunity. I was an athlete. I come from a family of athletes, and that's how we kind of made our way out of the situations that we grew up in. You know, not understanding how important my situation would be growing up, how it would come full circle and allow me to be able to disseminate health and wellness information to our people that has either been forgotten or no longer practiced. So after I finished playing football, I just went into coaching and training, not really going into it for the mentor aspect of things. I just went into it because I just saw a space in sports where we were, especially African-American athletes, I felt like we were being sacrificed at the behest of these trainers using theory. They were using theory to try and facilitate what they thought would equate into great athletes. And me and my business partner, both a trainer, and my man Lee from LA, and my man Fife from Louisiana, we kind of got together and just started developing our own programs that didn't operate in theory, because all of the moves that they were theorizing about, we had already accomplished. We had already did, and we knew what it was to be able to do those moves. So we started training people and facilitating training. And in college, I studied nutrition. I always had an affinity for health and wellness, but I didn't have the formal training. So at this university that I went to, Central Arkansas, they had a dietitian minor, but they didn't have a nutrition minor. And what they did was they bundled everything into consumer sciences. So you would have to minor in the consumer sciences and then concentrate in nutrition, if that makes sense. So I concentrated in nutrition, and I got an understanding of how nutrition works. But when I was looking at the nutrition and how they were teaching nutrition, I noticed that it didn't align with how my grandmother taught us nutrition, and how my great grandmother, and how my auntie, and how all of those who came before me, they didn't teach us nutrition the way they were teaching us in the school. So I just took it upon myself to just start telling people what my ancestors told me. And I ran into a bunch of roadblocks. The roadblock was science. So if you can remember, in the 90s, science was everything. Science is still everything now. But that's when it really started, in the 90s, where if you didn't have a double-blind, placebo-controlled study, it really didn't matter. So what was happening was these sciences, everything in nutrition, They were doing double-blind, placebo-controlled studies on rats. Which are these white rats? We know that everything that is pure white comes as a recessive in the scheme of things. So they would use the weakest possible model to do these studies, which is the recessive gene. Anytime you're doing a study on a recessive gene, it absolutely does not work for people with carbonated people or people with melanin, which is the dominant gene. So what I noticed in that gap was, if you're doing all of your studies on the inferior of things, then as a superior, understanding that all things in nature come from the dominance, then I knew that we were already malnutrition. We were under-nutrified. I learned this in the early 90s, and that's what started my journey. Right around, I stopped playing football in 2009, 2010. And we started training people full-time, professional athletes that was coming out that ended up, it was high school guys and college guys that ended up becoming legends in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Putting together their programs, putting together their workouts, not doing theory. We were only working off of what we knew would work because we did it. If we can do it, you can do it. We didn't go to a whiteboard or a chalkboard and say, this could possibly work. We went to guys and said, do this, and it worked. And that's how things really got started. Now, of course, you know, when you're dealing with society, you're going to run into obstacles. My obstacles were parents. This is where I started to understand the mindset of our community rearing and raising this new generation of children, because you have to understand, we crackhead were kids. So we grew up in the worst of the worst. And if you really want to be real about it, we were really like the last generation that got whole food. So we were still thinking in a mind frame that was conducive to our ancestors, while everything that was coming after us was being more and more recessive. That's why this double-blind placebo studies were done on recessive animals, because they were under-nutrifying us generation after generation after generation by taking the nutrition out of the food. Nobody was looking at these types of things but me and maybe a couple of other people that was yelling at the top of their lungs, but nobody was listening to us. And so we just started training people, just started putting the things that our ancestors did in front, and just coming from the country, just being a country boy, you know, working in the garden, working in the fields, just, you know, coming from nothing, you know, raising the hogs, feeding the cows, wood hauling. I just instituted all of the stuff that I learned over the years, just living. And we started getting such tremendous response from my clients that my partner, Boulder Trainer, was like, bro, you can't keep this in-house no more, because we have people that are dying from the lack of proper education about the Black body. Now, let me just be clear. This is not about Black people. This is not about white people. This is about Esau, Jacob, and you. You are different and separate than the tribes of Esau and Jacob. Let's just be clear about that. Esau is a cave animal. Jacob is your child. So we're talking about something way different. You have been suppressed. Everything that could have, every experiment that could possibly be done on a human was done on you. Every possible way to try and figure out why they can't create the dominant gene has been done on you. And everything that I teach, form over weight, early, never late, is always about you. It's not about me. It's not about science. It's about you, because the mind controls the body, right? That's what we've been told. The mind, you think it. The mind controls, right? So here's the trick. This is not the mind. This is the brain. This is the mind. You were not created like the Matrix with a thing in the back of your head. Your brain wasn't created first. That's what Esau wants you to think. You were built from the navel out. The umbilical cord ties into the navel, not the back of the mind, not the brain. A lot of people have disputed me on this, and this is fine. This is not about what I think. You think what you want to think. All of this is fiction. Believe nothing I say. You come to your own conclusion. Everything I talk about is fiction, and it is my reality. Everything you think and that you talk about is your reality. Anything I say is just information. Preface this: I'm not a doctor. I'm not into medicine. I'm not a naturopath. I'm not into any of the titles that Esau give people to box them in. I'm none of that. I'm form overweight. Everything that deals with form overweight means I would rather you do it according to your perfect form and get your perfect result than to do something according to somebody else's standard and fail, and have your conscious and subconscious see the world as a failure. Walking through the world as a failure. All right. So during the time that we were training athletes and I stopped dealing with, kids because of their parents, I noticed there was a mental block there. I noticed we was having some issues, going forward because people weren't as patient. People were more violent. People was having a whole bunch of mental health problems, instabilities. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it until I reverted back to the beginning. Under Nutrified, we're not getting the proper nutrition to support this brain that requires an awful lot of energy. You've heard all the facts. Your brain is bigger. You've heard all this stuff. Your pineal gland. You've heard all these things. The brain it works off of energy. You require energy. What is the energy that they understood that we didn't understand? Napoleon went around the world. He gets to Haiti. He just got to have Haiti. Why? Energy source. Haiti had the sugar cane. The Caribbean had the sugar cane. The brain runs off of glucose, sugar. Your brain requires more energy than anybody else's on the planet. Esau, knowing these things, he created all of these different things to ruin the body so you can't possibly eat enough sugar to facilitate the heightening and awareness of this brain that requires a tremendous amount of energy. You can't do it. Not in today's time because there's no nutrition in the food. So what does he do in the 70s? This is something that people never even realized. They created high fructose corn syrup in the 70s, right? Then they created crack, sugar derivative in the 80s. We have been steadily attacked mentally because the one thing, the trade-off with the sugar is if you don't have the B vitamins to support the energy, then you deplete the body. So you'll drink this soda, the body will get excited, the brain would utilize the sugar, the body would get excited, but it would get overly excited because you don't have the nutrition to keep you balanced. So over time you become manic, you become impatient, you become irritable. It makes everything else easy to become addicted to. People never associated, only a few people associated porn addiction to sugar. If you had somebody that had a high sugar intake, they would require more dopamine stimulation because the sugar has already burnt out their dopamine receptor. So anything new that they find that brought some sort of pleasure, because we don't understand how the other nutrition plays a part in the sugar metabolism. So when I started understanding these things with the parents, it was literally the ancestors just made it clear as day for me. Once I started to understand these things, that's when I was able to start putting, things together and help our people understand how to stabilize their brain and to not lean on some of the vices that we have in today's time. Fast forward, I moved to Atlanta. I live in Atlanta now. I work in supply chain. So I understand how the country moves. Even during the pandemic, when a lot of people were home, we were never home. When people thought things was going to falter, I knew they weren't going to falter because the supply chain never stopped. About 8 years ago, I told people about the ships that was in the water. I went to Venezuela, off the coast of Venezuela, off the coast of Panama. There were hundreds and hundreds of ships. This is in 2012, 13, 14. I was telling people about this years and years and years ago because the way you choke off a country is you choke off the supply chain. And when people should not ever get nervous with this fear mongering until you stop seeing 18-wheelers on the road and you stop seeing trains move. If you stop seeing 18-wheelers on the road and you stop seeing trains move, that's when you should panic. Till then, you should never panic. But just getting back into the nutrition part of it, I just noticed a gap in the fitness industry and the nutrition industry, and I just filled the gap. I noticed nobody was talking the way that we was talking. I noticed nobody was using the same terminology, the same language. Everybody was on a diet. We don't do no diets. We understand what time to eat. We understand what foods you can eat to facilitate organ healing at certain times, and I just can't say it's just me by myself because I got a group of colleagues and we all teach each other and we all lean on each other for different information. It's just that my information is just so crazy and away from what science says that a lot of people can't believe it until they just start participating in it, And once you start doing it and you see how easy it is and how the hypertension starts to balance out and how your A1C start to, where you don't have to use the insulin shots no more and you can cut down on your lisinopril and your metformin and, you start seeing weight loss without trying. That's the biggest thing. People start feeling good about themselves. And once they start feeling physically good about themselves, that's when they can say, well, I trust this guy enough. Let me see what's up with this mirror work. Then they come over into the spiritual side of it because I utilize the fitness side to get you over into the belief of self. The belief of self. It has nothing to do with me. As a trainer, I'm a motivator. That's it. But on the other side of that training, to get your mind right, I have to tell you that you are the greatest to ever live in that body that you have. You're the only one. There's no other one. There has never been another one. There will never be another one. So that one that you have is the greatest that has ever been created and ever will be created. Now stop playing with it and give it all the glory and credit that it deserves, and it'll respond to you. And then the health, the other stuff in the health starts to respond exponentially. The body starts to repair itself in a way that you never thought it could repair itself. The body will start doing things you never thought it could do. Just by you taking the power from here, giving it back to your mother and father, watching the body does do its thing. So, I know that was a lot, but that's where I come from. That's what it is. That's what I am, man. That's what I do.
Hey, I know the questions are burning, but I got a question for you, brother, because I got to go back to that umbilical cord in the mind, because it like when shit makes sense to me, it just makes sense, right? So give me a little more about that umbilical cord, because I know we started out getting nutrients from the umbilical cord. So, and I also heard about the trust your gut feeling, because that's where the thoughts, right? So give me a little bit more on that to kind of ease the people and ease me a little bit.
Okay, so when so here's how it works, right? You have the egg. The egg is the communicator. Sperm is blind. It's vibratory. Sperm vibrates. The egg sends the signal for the vibration. When sperm, they're racing, they're vibrating. When the sperm gets to the egg, the egg provides the information. The sperm provides the structure. Okay. So y'all have heard me talk about feminine energy, masculine principles. The stability of a body and a family is the principles, the rules, the masculinity, the protection. Men are structured. You give them a set of rules. The feminine energy is the intuition. It is the energy of knowing. So you get the energy and the structure comes together. Spark of life. The sperm provides the spark because it's moving, it's vibrating off of the signal given by the feminine energy. The energy is only on the feminine side. The sperm doesn't get those instructions until it passes the prostate. Has to pass through the Milky Way. The Milky Way, the prostate is a donut. It looks like the Milky Way. It's just like a donut, hole in the middle. Looks like the Milky Way. When the sperm passes when the sperm passes through the prostate, it gets its instructions. Once it gets to where it needs to be, it follows that vibration. Once it follows that vibration and it connects with the egg, the sperm provides structure. And the egg provides the vibration. As it grows, if you look, everybody thinks that it grows like brain first. That what you see is the egg and the sperm creating that. It doesn't make a movement until that spout from the female makes that connection to that cell. One thing a lot of people have never done that they've never, all of these holistic quote unquote people have never done that I have, is I sat in on the autopsy. I had a friend who was a coroner who allowed me to sit in on the autopsies. And if you ever pull the skin back at the navel is directly connected to the liver, where all of your blood goes. So you're built from the gut, not from the brain. You're built specifically through the umbilical cord, through the gut. Now you have an organ that they never told you about. That's only in the gut system. It's called the omentum. If you look at the omentum controls the entire autonomic nervous system, digestion, heartbeat, everything. They've never told you about it. The first time I ever saw it autopsy of a black woman. I said, well, maybe everybody has omentums. This is how you can only tell. Now people don't realize this is another gem that none of these people are going to tell you. This is why you can't differentiate black and white people by their skin. Esau doesn't have an omentum. But black people all have an omentum. Jacob has an omentum. The gene that the recessive gene, this is how you know your children. The recessive gene has an omentum. The cave dweller don't have an omentum. Cave dweller requires intelligence to grow. That's why they don't do none of their own dirty work. Because they're smart. They're not intelligent. They need intelligence. You have intelligence if you have an omentum, because that is the gut feeling that has built the entire structure that you call a body. This is why the race thing don't work in the spiritual aspect of things, because you don't know who's Esau and you don't know who's Jacob. And on top of that, you have recessive gene black people now who don't have an omentum. So they can't have sympathy. They don't have certain emotions that come along with the ability to think intelligently. They will be smart. See, when you start getting into the actual breakdown of the biology of the humans, then you can clearly see, like on that movie, that we see, or they see, when you put the glasses on, you clearly see your child and who comes from the cave. You can clearly see that. Just understanding intelligence and smarts. Okay? So you're totally built through that umbilical cord that goes into your body and disseminates your nutrition and the building of your body through the liver and the other omentum, the organ that they have never told you about, that covers your entire gut system from the top of your stomach to your colon. The whole thing. It's an intelligence that you know nothing about. It's an intelligence. It is not, it's unlike anything that you've ever thought about. It's an intelligence. It is the way. This is going to get heavy, people. Okay? This is going to get heavy. The omentum is an intelligence. It is the gateway. How do you come into this world through your mother? It is the gateway. You come from your mother's gut system. You're built in your mother's gut system. You get your energy from your mother. You get your structure from your father. This is an intelligence. This intelligence is the gateway. The same gateway from your mother to life. It's the same gateway to the subconscious quantum spiritual realm that exists outside of your vision. This right here controls your vision. You see a thing, you hear a thing, you process a thing. There's no eyes here. There's intelligence here. So when you have a gut feeling, that's an intelligence. You could be sitting here watching TV, something totally, and have a gut feeling. Let me call my boy, because something just don't. You didn't see him. You didn't hear him. You didn't feel him. You had an intelligence. The only way to connect the two is to foster the two. But y'all hear me talk about killing the imagination of your children early.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only culture that killed our children's imagination early. See, Esau understands there's an intelligence. In order to grow that intelligence, you have to think about the impossible. Now, as an adult, it's impossible for a reindeer to fly. And I'm gonna use a Christmas thing over and over and over and over again till y'all understand what I'm talking about and get off of the religious bullshit. Santa Claus, literal.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know as an adult, literally, there's no way that a group of reindeer can fly through the sky with a fat white man with a beard and a bag of toys to facilitate all of the wishes of every child on the planet. As an adult, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
There is an old saying that comes from Africa that they don't ever talk about either. Show me the child till 7 and I'll show you the man. The tribe, if you notice, the men and the boys always were gone. But the children up to 7 years old, they remained because they had to be taught the principles of manhood by the feminine energy that knows what manhood should be in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Show me the child of 7, I'll show you the man. You destroy your child's imagination as soon as you can. So by the time your child is 7 years old, he's dealing with reality. And y'all wonder why a 10-year-old has mental health issues. Y'all trying to figure out why a 9-year-old is stressed out. How? You're 9. They have no imagination. See, we don't understand the lessons. We too literal. See, this is what chaos does. Chaos has to be seen. Chaos has to tell his child, Santa Claus didn't buy that for you. I bought that for you. I'm your Santa Claus. Your daddy ain't doing. Don't understand the magnitude of imagination. There are no dreams. There's only nightmares. There are no dreams. There's only nightmares. Every time a child wakes up crying, they have a nightmare. You just assume they're having a nightmare. Why are children having nightmares? You are destroying their imagination. They can't create anything. These children are creating nothing but beats. All of the technology that we have are created by foreigners, Africans, people who don't destroy their children's imagination. Their cultural biases, they keep their cultures intact. Everybody's creating something. And Jacob, all of the tech here in this country, created it. We have to facilitate it because we're an intelligence. So I can teach you how to code, and just based on your intelligence, you can code and do things, but you can't create anything. That's over with because you don't have any imagination. That was destroyed. See, everything is literal. That's why they don't take life for granted. That's why everybody killing, and these kids, they don't no imagination. No, nothing they can grow anything. We come out of hip hop. Hip hop was imagination. We had nothing. We played murder ball. You remember murder ball?
Oh, heck
You
yeah.
just put the ball down. You came up with things.
Yeah.
You created things. You enhance you and your people. You know what I'm saying? Like this is way bigger than just health and wellness. See, that's just what I had to use to get in the game. That's just what I had to use to get in the game. But it's way bigger than that. It's both parts. It's the health and wellness and the mental capacity and the ability to be able to alter your reality, understanding where your mother and father are. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. It's here. It's in the heart. And they would say, it's in the heart. You know? So it's just a perspective. Like I said, all this is fiction. None of this is real.
All fiction.
It's all fiction.
So I hear you talk about living in time. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So the phrase that I often use is get out of time. Get out of time. Esau has us trapped in time. We have to have a savings for future problems. We often live what we did. All of those things are in time. When you get out of time, get into now, what good is your savings doing you now? Nothing. Right? What good is me rushing for 1,000 yards in 1995 doing for me now? Nothing. You're anticipating a problem in 3 weeks. That anticipation is in time. It's altering your now. Altering your now. You have to alter your now by sitting in it. You control the reality now. You hear me say, get in the mirror, create your own reality. The reason why I say that is because, okay, we're going to use time the way Esau uses time. Esau understands that there's a catastrophic problem coming. Esau goes and he gets 5 Rhondas who understand the power of now. He gets these black women to utilize their energies to manipulate time and space. How does he do that, man? You said time. How do they manipulate time and space? Well, let's just go back to our mother. In the subconscious quantum realm, there's no such thing as time and space. There is no time. There is no space. There just is. When you're in the now, you just are. So you're actually on the same frequency as ancestors, the gods, the energy, the source in the quantum. The difference is you can't translate it into something tangible and real into your reality because you don't know how to bring it forth from the quantum realm, because you don't understand that, again, there's only one who on the planet? One you, right? There's only one you. You're unique. Your energy is unique. Everything about you is unique. So if I want to utilize everybody that is a part of me, this is where the ancestors, this is where your energy comes in. This is where honoring your mother and father comes in. If I want to utilize the unseen energies that exist outside of time and space, how would I tap into that, understanding that I have the ability? The only way that you're going to be able to tap into that is bring this unseen scene to the scene. How do you do that? People are energy. Energy creates thoughts. Thoughts create the words, and the words create the reality, right? What's the problem we run into? We grew up with people saying what? Pray for me. Pray for us. Let me say a prayer for you. For who?
For you.
A prayer for who?
For you.
When a person says a prayer for you and things get worse, what did you attribute it to? Who gets the blame? Does the person that said the prayer for you get the blame?
Nope.
You get the blame. Why you get the blame? Because your subconscious quantum energy only responds to you. Only one you. Nobody else vibrates like you vibrate. You are asking for someone to vibrate in a manner that's going to produce a result for a total vibration that their ancestors and their vibration don't know nothing the fuck about. So what you got to do? You got to vibrate. Okay, we understand there's energy and then there's vibration. How do you vibrate? Words. Your voice is unique. Everything about you is unique. There may be people that sound like you. There are people that look like you. You know, you are unique. Your vibration is yours. You utilize your vibration because the subconscious quantum don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying, you don't work for you. You say that you work for you. So, in the form overweight method, right? This is how I look at it, right? People are energy. Energy creates thoughts. Thoughts create the utterances, the words, and the words create the reality. All right. So, if I'm saying here and I'm meditating and I want to manifest something and I'm meditating, the unseen can't figure out what's going on because there's no vibration. There's no vibration. Okay. We did what in the pyramids? Painted hieroglyphics, right? Why? Because we create pictures. You visualize. You see yourself. Everything that we do in our creative mind, we have to see it. In form overweight, I call it the mirror work. Who do we want to manifest for? We want to manifest for you. So we get in front of the mirror and look at who we're manifesting for. What are we manifesting? This is what we're manifesting for you. Your subconscious, mother and father, only hears your vibration. Your thoughts, not somebody else's prayers, your vibration. Your words, your intentions behind your words, your inflictions. In order to make something a reality, you have to create it in the subconscious mind. The problem we're having, now that you understand that your words create the manifestation through the subconscious quantum realm that makes things a reality. What's the problem we're having? Imagination. The subconscious mind and the conscious mind has been at a disconnect for so long. It's just like two best friends that don't even fuck with each other no more. I can't trust you. You betrayed me because you don't have no imagination. Everything has a limitation because you no longer believe in Santa Claus. So now, if you don't believe that there's some reindeer that can fly, why would I create a reality of something that you don't even think is possible in the first place? A lot of people want to be a millionaire, but they say, well, ain't no way I can make $1 million off earth juice. There's no way I can make $1 million off herb juice if you can go to Kroger and get everything.
Yeah.
So we have to get in the mirror. We have to empower ourselves. You can't empower nobody else. You got to empower yourself. You got to empower yourself by utilizing your vibration, which is your words, your cells. Everything that's part of you responds to your vibration. This is where they get spontaneous healing from. When you have people that are desperate, sitting in the hospital bed, and all they got is prayer. And it's out loud. And they're telling themselves that they can get over this and they can do this and they can do that, and they start getting well. And what happens? Who they get a credit to?
God.
There you go. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what happens to them later on?
Get sick
Right
again.
back in the same situation.
There you go. Why are you in the same situation? Because you refuse to give your mother and your father credit. You refuse to acknowledge that you're so great, that you could say words, that you could utter words, that you could vibrate at a rate so high that you could heal yourself. Esau say, just come on back. I got medication for you. But this time when I give you this medication, we're going to suppress that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Very real things. You have to get out of time. You have to get out of the worrying, because worrying is in time. Something is going to happen. You're worried about the future. You create the future now. If you got it, once you see, Esau understands where he's going. So he comes back and says, oh, this is what we're going to do to facilitate then. And you get conspiracy theories coming in and say, man, these motherfuckers traveling in time, man. These time travelers. And they just utilizing the black woman. They just utilizing the most powerful spiritual energy on the planet. You still got men talking about masculine energy. The reason why masculine energy doesn't work the way they want it to work is because there's no such thing as masculine energy. There's only masculine principles. Anybody you see that's not operating in masculine principles, they're unstable. Because trying to participate in feminine energy will drive a man crazy. That's why all these niggas crazy. That's why you got dudes killing chicks and committing suicide over chicks. You can't get involved with feminine energy. You don't possess the ability to hold feminine energy. You have to stick to masculine principles. You set a set of principles. That is how you run your house on your principles, and you allow your woman to utilize her energy to facilitate your principles. There is no man run the house, woman subservient. It is a partnership that if you don't get balance to it, you're going to be living in a world of unhappiness. And we don't deal, because happiness is in time. You steady trying to get your woman to do a thing. She's steady trying to get you to do a thing. That's in time. That's trying to find happiness. You'll never find it because it's in time. It's always elusive. You're chasing it. The instant you have a set of principles and she clearly understands how you are and who you are, she starts to interject her energy into the principles because she back you up. You can live in joy. You can now enjoy your life. You can now enjoy, which is an emotion, your life. She understands your principles. She supports those principles and puts her energy behind your principles, and you both can enjoy life. If not, you're going to constantly be chasing each other, trying to find happiness, and it's never going to work. Never.
Okay, Matt, like, I was super excited for this interview. You know, I've been following you for a long time, and your principles have changed not just my life, but my family's life. There's a million questions that I could ask, but I think just knowing how much you've been through, and this is an interview about you. This ain't about us, right? Knowing how intense of a year it was last year. Could you please touch on the Holy Trinity? Like that right there would really, I think that more than anything could help our audience and the people if you can help them understand the importance of the Holy Trinity.
I got 3 or 4. Which one you want to talk about?
Whichever one you want to talk about, like the Holy Trinity. You know, when it comes to who we are, and you talked about it on your mother and father and who we are. on the importance of the Holy and Trinity and
Okay.
what those three do for you as a
Okay.
man,
All right.
as a woman,
And as a child. Okay. So yeah, one of the things I often say, and I, you know, I'm not gonna beat nobody up over the Bible because I come from a very religious family. Methodist man, AME, you know, but down home, down south, you know, very, very, very religious family. I went to a private Baptist college, you know. Listen, and see what I used to pride myself off of, which is terrible, is asking the pastors the hard questions, you know, and watching them squirm. And my mom used to get so mad at me. She used to get so hot, you know. But let me. This is what I'll say, and I'm gonna just make this super duper simple. Okay. All right. So I perform rituals every single day. We all perform rituals, whether it's getting up, having a warm salty water, taking a bath. Everybody perform rituals. I do rituals every single day. I pour libations almost every single day. All right. I give honor, praise, and glory to my ancestors, and especially to my mother and father. I honor my mother and my father and my stepfather. Also, I honor the ancestors, the great Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, you know, C. Freeman L., every ancestor that I learned from, everybody that gave me something, even those I didn't learn from. And here is why you must honor your mother and father. This is the reason why you got, listen, if y'all don't take nothing else from me, I need y'all to understand this shit. Y'all got to understand this. This is important. This right here is where your power is going to come. If you feel like you're powerless, you are about the power unlike no other after this. Okay. Most people, they honor God. I take in the Genesis. I read this passage. It says, let us make mankind from our own image. So I say, who is us and who is our? I just said those two questions. Who is us? Our. So let us make mankind in our own image. We got to figure out who us is. We ain't going to do no speculation. We're just going to leave it as it is, right? Understand that, right? Okay. Who created you? Their own image and likeness. Your mother and your father.
Mm-hmm.
Not God. It may have been God's will. It may have been the Creator's will. They got together. That's not what's up for debate. Who created this woman and this man in their own likeness? Your mother and your father. Now I want you to think about this. You worship, you give honor, you give glory to that said, let us create mankind in our own image and likeness. Now you go to church and you say, I give honor and praise to something I read in a book that said, let us make mankind in our own image and likeness. So then I take you to John, where the Savior said, is it not written in your law that I said, Jesus, that ye are gods? This is what Jesus said. So when I look at this is Old Testament and New Testament, I say, okay, 10 Commandments, honor your mother and father. Old Testament. But before that, it says, let us make mankind in our own image. The person that made me in their own image was my mother and father, right? So I came to the realization that I honor my mother and I honor my father. I'm respectable. I respect them. I do all of the humanly shit to honor my mother and father, but I didn't worship them. My uncle said one time in an interview, they said, "Who do you look up to? Who is your the person that you looked up to growing up?" We come from a community of stellar athletes. My family's got crazy athletes, and he said, "I look up to my mom and daddy, and I think everybody should look up to their mother and father."
Big facts.
Blew me away. I used to try to figure out how the fuck did he become a millionaire? How in the hell did he become so? Why do everybody like him? Why is this guy, how is he so successful? How does he have all these accolades? Honors above all. Honored above all. His mother and his father. It dawned on me, and once I started to put my mother and father, when I started to honor my mother and father in a way of not of worship, so to speak, because that is what we do for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
We don't worship our mother and father. Listen, let me just give a disclaimer for some of those who come from where I come from. I didn't say like your mother and father. I didn't say agree with your mother and father. I didn't say kiss your mother and father ass. I didn't say none of that. Worship, you honor, you give them credit, you express gratitude. You are created in the image of God. God said, "Let us make mankind in our own image and likeness." My mother and father created me in my own image and likeness, in their own image and likeness. And ever since I've been giving them honor and praise and glory and all the things I would have gave something external of myself, my life has been fantastic. And everybody that was not on the same page or not aligned with that particular thing, I didn't have to move them. The reality of me utilizing my conscious and subconscious created a reality to where they will remove themselves. No hurt, no harm, nothing bad. It's just these people fall out of your life because they're no longer aligned with showing the appreciation and giving the gratitude to those who had a hand in creating them. Okay, now let's go a whole nother step back. Now that's mother, father, and child. Okay, now let's go even deeper than that, right? One of the things that I say in my ritual is I say, I am you, you are me, and we are. We exist. That means we're here now. Okay. Science has said, because they mapped you, they just got to figure you out, chaos. They ain't gonna rest until they figure you out, chaos. They don't understand that you are something not from this planet. They're not gonna rest until they figure you out. Okay. They map you and say there are 70 trillion cells. 70 trillion cells in your body. That means you are a combination, evolving of 70 trillion pieces of energy. If you had 70 trillion AAA batteries, how much energy would that be?
That's a lot of energy.
You see what I'm saying? That's a lot, right? So me understanding that I am a combination of my mother and father, who is a combination of their mother and father, who is a combination of their mother and father, who is a combination of their mother and father, who is a combination of their mother. You are the sum total of all ancestors that came before you. You are. when you start to wrap your mind around how many people were born to create you in this moment and how farther along evolutionary wise and natural wise than they were, how intelligent, how more built, how all the things when you start to try and wrap your mind around that, you won't have a choice but to give honor and credit to everybody that came before you that allowed you to be in this particular position to be who you are at today's time. You cannot take that for granted. You can't, but you got to honor your ancestors. You got to give them credit. You got to give them praise. They are the reason you are here. You're in the flesh, talking about something that you've never seen or touched. And you hugged and kissed your mother and father every day and gave somebody else their credit. Because they gave somebody else their mother and father's credit. And they gave somebody else their mother and father credit all the way back to the slave master.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity now to change everything. To change and alter history. Because you are your children's God. If you ask a 5-year-old what God is, and they don't say mama and daddy, because see, you ain't got but 2 more years now.
Mm-hmm.
After 7, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer don't exist.
Mm-mm.
At the 7, you got what you got after 7.
Mm-hmm.
We don't understand we don't understand. People ask me what make Dominic, but Dominic 369. People ask me what make Dominic so powerful. I say he honored the ancestors.
Right.
He channeled the magic of the ancestors and alter and bend reality, bend energy. I'm a living witness. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I was trying to figure out what I needed to do, and I ain't have enough time. This is a true story. I didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do with this form overweight. I was charging $25 a consultation. I was having a consultation here and there, dropping these same jewels to people, right, for $25, right? But I just didn't really have enough time because I'm writing programs and I'm working. I ain't got enough time for this. So I got a reading, a consultation with Dominic. Dominic said, don't worry about it. We're gonna, things are gonna change in your life. You're gonna have to do this, this, and this, and this, and time is you're gonna have to, practice what you preach is really what he was saying, because I have been telling people to get out of time. And he said, practice what you preach and stop bullshitting. All right, cool. I go to work 2 days later, and I got hit by a train.
26 changed everything.
Not one of those, it hit the car and spun the car. No. I got hit in an open air vehicle, head on by a train. Threw way over there, almost got ran over, and walked away. I was out of work for 4 months. How crazy is that for having time to build your brand? Number 2, the people. Bro, I'm helping so many people. I got so many athletes. I got so much going on. I stop bullshitting, bro. Don't worry about that. Everybody that I met from December the 26th up until now, are nobody old. Everybody new. This is the craziest thing ever. Everybody brings value to my life. hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of consultations, and everybody recognizing how great they are and bringing value. Because you learn to manipulate things that you think is dominant. You can't change it. You can't change gravity. You can't change time. You can only change time when you get out of it. If you in it, you can't change it.
All facts.
You got to get out of time. When you get out of time, you can manipulate it. You can manipulate space. You can manipulate reality. So, understanding you are created in the image of your mother and your father. Honor your mother and your father. You are the sum total combination of everybody that has ever existed. You got 70 trillion cells. Esau called it evolution. The more of us that appear and disappear off of this planet, the more we evolve. That's why your children are more evolved than you. And we are more evolved than our parents. Because more of us are coming here, leaving here, and becoming part of the new ones. The sum combination of all your ancestors. Give them honor, give them praise, give them appreciation. Channel all of that glory that you give into something else and give it to those who created you, and watch your life change right in front of your face. Then, when you do the mirror work as your life changing and you start to give yourself credit for all of the things that you've accomplished by making your ancestors proud and giving them the glory, you ain't gonna want to do nothing but teach this. Because see, right now it's all fiction. This is my life. Right now it's fiction for you. Don't believe nothing I'm talking about, because this is my reality. It's all fiction. None of it is real. None of y'all got hit by the train. None of y'all broke your leg. None of y'all did none of this stuff. Listen, true story. I had Bell's palsy. The shit everybody was scared of with the COVID, with the whole twisted face. Food. My grandmother gave me food. It went away. See, this is the difference. We understand everything that comes from evolution. See, Esau live in evolution. Everything that's wrong with you is alive, but you try to treat it like it's dead. When you come over here, you understand that everything is form. Form over weight. Weight is just something dead. Life forms. Energy forms. These are things that exist. They move. It's not inert. The COVID is alive, and it's not a virus. It's a fungus.
Don't go.
It's not alive. It's not something that it's
the worms.
It's the worms.
It's the worms.
The worms dictate everything. It's alive. Just like you're alive, the worms are alive. They introduce food to the worms eat the food and have a reaction. The same thing if you eat food that somebody undercooked and you got a tummy ache. That's simple, huh?
Easy.
Hey, man, this feel really good, man. I feel like I was going in and out of this space, man. Y'all don't know what I feel right now, because everybody I've been talking to for the last couple of days, everybody's talking the same shit, and it's like, damn, was I here? And I'm moving like I got this feeling, man. It's crazy. I don't know. I can't describe it, but I appreciate.
Man, it's just one of those things, bro, where the nostalgia, and then when you start going back to your childhood and you start correcting things in time, you start going through in your mind, you start going through things in time, and then you bring it back to now, and you get a better perspective and an understanding on how to alter your now to set the standard for your future. You see what I mean? So that's the part that I want to bring to people for the evaluating part. You know what I mean? Because you reevaluate things and you look at things. Now that you understand that you're the some combination of your mother, grandmother, great auntie, everybody that comes from that lineage. You now have the ability to tap into their knowledge, their power. All you got to do is utilize the conscious subconscious connection. So when these things that you forgot about start to present itself to it, it allows you to utilize the things in that space, in that time, to correct your now. A lot of people that's listening to this, they're going to start going into nostalgic type of thinking, and they're going to start thinking back. And once you get to that place, you alter that particular memory for something that can be beneficial. When you do that, the subconscious quantum start to alter your universe now, so you can get back into joy. These traumas, they sit in our organs. As you go back there, in order to get them off your organs, you change them in your mind.
Curtis is like stuck. Like
no, I like this shit, man, because hey, you just
like this nowhere else.
no, but you know what's cool? I just had a thought. Like years ago, my uncle told me, man, and this is some crazy shit. He told me, he said, man, what if I died so you can be rich? My uncle told me this years ago, man. Like, and he ended up passing away. Right, so that's what's messed. That's that thought I just had, Rhonda. Because thinking back right now, my uncle so he said, "Man, what if I died and that was gonna make you rich?"
So
like
now
I remember
it's like,
this as a kid.
I just need all that. I just need all that knowledge,
Yeah,
I just need all that. I just need all that knowledge, because I know you knew some stuff. You know he knew some stuff. You know he knew some stuff. Ask him. You see how simple that is? You see how simple that was? Like,
Yeah,
I do this in my consultations all the time. People like, yo, I'll be like, ask him. What do you mean? That's simple. Your subconscious, your uncle, is a part of you. He's part of the some combination of entities that create you. You can speak to him at any time, because he will only hear your voice coming from you. Ask him. At any point you can change the perspective on things by getting a perspective that you never had or that you never thought. The reason why I can come from so many different perspectives is because I asked. I asked Dr. Africa. I asked Dr. Sabi. I asked. Everybody else is honoring. I asked. How do you think I came up with we don't do no diets? How do you think I understood how to hydrate the food? People don't understand how I was able to fix blood pressure with 2 products that you can get in any store in the country. You can walk in any supermarket in the country and pick up 2 things and control hypertension, a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Every single day. We don't even blink at high blood pressure no more.
Easy.
We don't even blink about that. When people say my blood pressure high, I be like, all right, don't worry about that. What else? I asked them, why are the big 3 questions that you have to answer me? When you get a consultation with me, I ask you 3 questions. How are you sleeping? How much water are you drinking? And how are you pooping? Those are the only 3 questions I need to know to understand how to fix every ailment. I got a multiple sclerosis patient. She's not a patient. She's just a client, a friend who was in the bed that's going to work out every day. 3 questions. I asked her 3 questions. She said, I'm tired of this walker. I got to get in the bed. I can't go nowhere. I'm deteriorating. I asked her 3 questions. How much water are you drinking? How much sleep are you getting? And how are you pooping? And now she goes to spin classes and walks and goes wherever she want to go. This is a real fact. 3 questions. I asked the ancestors. I didn't try to outdo them. I didn't try to upstage them. I sell them candles up there. I asked them. How simple is that? We trying to fight a battle on the physical plane. It used to be yours. Chaos. It used to be yours. It's not yours anymore. It belongs to Esau. Esau is soulless. So the battles we have to fight is in a realm that he can't get to. And your ancestors knew that. You got to get back to that. Stop trying to fight a physical battle. You're going to lose. You'll lose the flesh. You'll become part of the ether that I'll be talking to because you're trying to fight a flesh war. You got to fight something that's soulless in a place where he can't get to. What you do is you control the atmosphere because he can't control it. He's stuck. This is the reason why he wants everybody to kneel on this planet. Everybody must kneel on this planet because this is all he got. It's all he got. You got other planets, galaxies, other stars, solar system. This is all he got. And y'all keep trying to fight him on the shit that he mastered. How can you be a loving people trying to fight a person all he knows is death?
Facts.
That's why your birth certificate is so important.
Whoa,
We
now.
ain't even go there. We ain't gonna stop
Whoa,
right there.
now. Whoa, now.
Let's
Whoa,
start
now.
right there.
Hold on, King. Hold on, King. That's the next interview. Hold on. We gotta bring you back.
We're gonna stop right there.
We gotta bring you. We gotta
Yes, sir.
bring you back. You just told this thing up, and we have. They didn't understand. No one else understood. I knew what it meant. I know what it meant. This was the one that I was so anticipating. I was ready to bump everybody else off the calendar, whatever time they thought they had.
He did. He tried to do that.
I was in my feelings because I couldn't get this one right.
And I knew that too.
I was in my feelings. I was like, yo, we gotta get Mac on. If we don't interview nobody else, this is the one interview we gotta
but
get
you know what?
right.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something he said. We got to stand on our principles though too.
I respect it.
Right.
I told you I respect it.
So that's what I want us to build, and that's what I got out of that too. Like when you brought that up, we said let's stick to what we're supposed to do.
I respect it. You didn't see me say nothing, but I respect it.
Because they turned me on to you. They turned me on to you, and I went and watched videos. And Trash play one for us every time we kicking it, right? Like he'll play something for us, and I like,
that's
yeah, no.
Watching his live.
Oh, that's what it was. but hey, that's why I knew the live. He said, "Man, I said that on the live earlier. That's why I knew the live. We was listening to the live then. Okay, but." When I heard you, I was like, man, this brother deep, man, and we need more of that. Like, I didn't know how much time we had. We was looking. I said, I ain't gonna stop it to it stop itself. But we definitely appreciate you for coming.
You didn't see no notebook open up. You didn't see no notepad come open. You seen all off the top. This is him every day,
all day, bro.
Solid.
Yo, man.
Hey.
Oh yeah, y'all see my little fairy house right there, right?
Yeah.
The fairies, you know, they the translators. They be just dropping. I'm just kidding, right?
No, go for it. I see them candles back there, though.
Yeah, man. You know, I just, I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. You know, it's just, everything that these people. I spoke about the Wick series. People should go watch John Wick, all 3. Okay. People should watch The Hobbit. People, all of these things, they're talking about your mind, and all of these things on how to master your mind. The matrices, of course, you have to stop looking at these things as fiction, and start to understand that all of these things come from you. And they're utilizing pictures, which is why the Egyptians drew pictures. The Aztecs and everywhere we've been, they utilize pictures. They're utilizing pictures to explain to you who you are. It's sort of like taunting. And the more you ignore it, the stronger they get, because they feed. Because, okay, see, Esau can't utilize your energy. He's soulless. But he converts your children and allow the archons and different entities to feed off of you. And their strength is in your children being stronger than you. And you don't know why you can't control your children. You can't control Jacob. How are you going to control your children? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like we don't understand how smart this creature is and is utilizing our children against us in all facets. In all facets. It's gotten to the point to where, okay, you utilize the recessive gene to create dissension. That's what the KKK was, okay? To create these things, right? Then, so you not knowing that this recessive gene is your child that you can't control, they take it a step further. They take the child in your house. Allow the child in your house to work against you also. See, they just get more and more bolder because chaos don't want to see nothing. You're trying to fight a war on the physical plane with weapons that you don't control. But in that spiritual realm, the astral quantum realm, which is where they're trying to get to. This is why they're trying to create all this other stuff. You unlimited. There's no limits. There's no time and space in the quantum space. You have no limits. Why wouldn't you operate there?
Facts.
Makes sense, right?
Yes, sir.
Totally makes sense.
You got to train yourself. You got to train yourself to get there. You got to get that ego under control. Honor your mother and father. Understand who your ancestors are, how powerful they are outside of this physical realm, and reality starts to bend to you. Listen to me. You literally can bend reality. You can bend reality to you. A lot of people have done it. A lot of clients have done it. A lot of people have done it. Create their own reality because they operate in a place that doesn't adhere to the rules of the earth or Esau's rules. So, won't you come?
Won't you come?
Where are they coming? Because where can people find you?
Where can they find you at?
Listen,
Yes, please.
Listen, I'm centralized. I'm only on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I got TikToks. I got Facebook. I got all these things. When it comes to this, only on Instagram. The name, The Form Runna. Only one. Form Fit is my fitness page. I'm hardly ever over there, but it'll lead you to me. Come check me out. I got a bunch of lives. I got a bunch of videos. I got a bunch of stuff over there. Free game. It's free game.
Now hold on. Whoa now. When the book coming?
Okay. So the book, I would say the book is gonna probably be next year. I have so much information stored. The hardest part is putting it in an order that, because you can't listen. The stuff that I give you is tailor-made, like right. Everything I give you is tailor-made for you. And to try and put something and generalize it and put it in the book, it's going to be hard for me to categorize it and put it in a way to where an average novice person can pick it up and become powerful enough to manipulate time and space in his own mind. That's the struggle I'm going with, because there's so much data, it's so much information that, because you got to think now. But it's been about a year now, Rhonda. Huh? It's been about a year since I know y'all now, right? So in that year, you never really heard me say the same things.
Never.
It's so much data. It's so much data that it's if I was to just start putting everything down, it would probably be 10,000 pages. So I have to condense it to a point to where I can make it really understandable for 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, because they're going to be the most powerful people. These are the evolutionary indigo children that's going to start changing things. But we got to change how they're thinking. We got to alter their mindsets first. So that's where I'm at with it. So I'll say probably about next year, because I got a lot of stuff down already. I just got to.
And the last
then I'll send it for you to proofread, Run. I'm gonna send it for you to proofread. You can do your thing.
The last thing, if you could recommend one book for people to go to, and I know how deep I've seen how your library is. It's way different from anything anybody has ever seen. It ain't even a question. But if you could pick one book out to say, this will change y'all, this is where I want y'all to kind of start at, or this is what that can change your everything, what's one book would you recommend?
You stumped him.
No, his library is different.
Because
I know.
I done seen his library. I done seen pieces of his library that he just got sitting around. Like this high.
So many books. Yeah, shit is crazy. So here's the thing. The reason why it's so hard for me to recommend one book is because every book is a lie. I say, and I'm here to give you an example. This book, Holistic Self-Diagnosis, by Dr. Laila Africa. It's a book that a lot of holistic health and wellness people are building their brand off of. A lot of false information in there. And a lot of people are getting damaged by utilizing it to the T. Mm-hmm. I love the book because it has some great information. But the instant you said one domino wrong, the rest of the dominoes are wrong. So every book that I got thousands of books. And each book has information. Okay, all right. So here's what you do. I don't give a shit what book you get. Whatever you're interested in, I'll show you how to read books. No, I can't do that. That's free game. All right, so it doesn't matter what book you get. Anything that you come across. Okay, so when you start, this is going to be your first thing on how to bend reality. You're going to go to the mirror and you're going to say, bro, I need a book to get started with. I need a book to get started with, whatever it is, just give me a book to get started. You know where my heart is at. This is what I'm trying to do. Let's get us a book and get started. Okay. Whatever book presents itself, you just get the book. I don't care if you rent it at the library. Okay, if you buy the book on Amazon, it doesn't matter. Just get the book. Once you get the book, don't read the book. Don't read the book like you regularly would. Flip through the book, and where the page stop at, that's where you start reading. You only read one page. The reason why you're only going to read one page is you're going to let the subconscious quantum realm start to maneuver energies to create a reality that's going to be conducive for altering what you read. The knowledge is no longer going to be the author's, it's going to be yours. This is why I can give you information and you've never heard it before. Because the author wrote a certain thing that resonated, but the ancestors said that shit wrong. This is how it's really supposed to go. Because Esau, in the Library of Congress that catalogs these books, don't want certain things to be out. That's why you have a blacklist of books you can't get that I have to get from India and Australia and places like that. So it don't matter. Ask your ancestors what book you need. They're gonna tell you. Like, I had a problem with all of the stuff people were saying, and I said, bro, I got to get some books that's gonna tell me some stuff. I need to really know what's going on, because these people changing these books. That's why I always want first, second, third editions. And I bumped into a teacher that had, I bumped into this lady whose mother was a teacher during the Great Depression. Poor people who didn't have nothing but what? Books.
That's all.
So I got encyclopedias from the 1900s, the teens, stuff people can't get. And when people start saying blasphemous information, my spidey senses go off, and I go jump in them medical encyclopedias and them encyclopedias from 1906, and I can really see the real. So I can give you the real. But if I never got in the mirror, and I never talk to those whom I honor and give praise and appreciation to, that opportunity in reality would have never presented itself. I got 1,000 examples of my ancestors creating reality for me. I got 1,000 of them. Rhonda is one of them. I'm talking to Rhonda on a consultation, all willy-nilly, la, 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 la. I get out of the consultation, trash like, yeah, man, she helped me write my book. I wrote the book. She wrote the book. Back. I say, you really like that?
You like that?
I said, I really was thinking about writing a book. I'm like, damn. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm trying to put this PDF shit together. I'm like, send me that shit, man. This wrong. That's wrong. Changed our whole life. Like everybody, but even though I brought value to her, the reality was created in the mirror first. My ancestors brought me somebody to cover my weaknesses, because y'all hear me say all the time, I need people to cover my weaknesses, because I know me. I know me. And I know I ain't gonna sit down and write no damn book, but I'll type a couple pages up, but I need somebody to cover those weaknesses, because my PDF had all kind of typos. It was messed up. She was like, oh, look at this shit. Because she got that eye. So, those are examples over and over and over and over. Over and over and over and over and over. And when I got out of time, I said, look, this is where I'm weak at. This is what's going on. And I leave it there. I'm not in time. I just leave it there. I don't worry about it. Say, oh, then, things just happen. I'm like, damn. And it blows me away every time my reality is created that I set in motion 2 days ago, 5 days ago, 7 days ago, and reality started to present itself, and I sit back and look at it, and I'd be like, boy, y'all something else. y'all something else. And you give them the appreciation. I appreciate it, though. Then everybody in your life starts to have value. That's why people got all these freeloaders, because they're not asking for people to bring value to their life. Like, everybody you meet start to bring value to you when you tap into your power. You don't need no more baggage. We ain't got time for baggage, man. We ain't got time for it. So if you want more and more people to tap into you, ask for it. It ain't hard. Just ask, man. Just ask, man.
Won't you come?
Yeah,
we say it all the time. Closed mouth don't get fed. Closed mouth don't get fed, but then we won't even.
We won't ask.
Man.
Right.
Won't you come?
The doors of the church is open.
Hey, see, I wasn't sure if that's where you got that from, but I heard it on a couple of.
Won't you come?
Listen, I got some friends. All of my friends are comedians, and we got one of my friends. he's just a funny guy. And one day we was at work, and we ended up calling him the Reverend Gerald A. China, and he was just, now this is FCC regulated radio. Now this is safety radio, and he said the doors of the church is open. Won't you come? And I hollered. Oh my God! Ever since then, I've been sold. Yeah, so
that's good.
That's where I got it from, man. It's cool. It's funny. It raises everybody's spirits, and that's the thing. You got to be able to not take yourself so serious. You know what I mean? You got to be able to, because this is all fiction.
But it's cool because it gives some people something they recognize too.
Right, it's all fiction, though. You heard it. It's all fiction. It's all fiction. Don't take none of this to heart. Don't try and say he said this, so that's why I did this. This is all fiction. This is all fiction. Make it your reality.
All of these things.
I like a number of that he talked about, because I used to be around these guys that was high income earners, man, and that's what they used to say when they first get on the stage was, "Hey, don't believe nothing I say." Right, like, and then another one was I think we said it a little different, but it's called TFAR, right? Thoughts, feelings, actions, and then reality, right? Like, so, man, when shit makes sense to me, I hear it. That's why, Rhonda, I get stuck, because I'm listening, I'm learning, right? Like,
oh, I know.
I get in that mode, right? Like, because I had some notes trying to do it to where y'all couldn't see, where I kind of get like this and get my computer going, right? But I always got the tape, but it's a couple of things I had to jot down, right? Like, hey, so I don't know how long we got you. We can still chat, but hey, you guys, I'm gonna just do it like this. Y'all know how we do it. We got problems, and we also have solutions, and we out.